All right, so vocal registers. What are they and what do they sound like?
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
So first of all, when we're talking about what are they, we're talking about two different things. One is the coordination of the vocal cords and the resonance that is associated with it. And number two is the sound that it produces. So starting from low to high, the registers of the voice are vocal fry, chest voice, mixed voice, head voice, and whistle register. So vocal fry is the lowest register. It's one that doesn't really feel like it has a pitch necessarily that's associated with it. It's a register that's generally not used in sung phrases. It can be used to begin a phrase, and a lot of people have incorporated it into their speaking style, but it's not something that you would speak on. So it sounds like this. So it's kind of that creaky, poppy type of sound that you hear when you're kind of like groggy first thing in the morning, like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed today. Oh. So that's our vocal fry register. So people generally are not speaking like that. They're not going, hey Adam, how's it going? My name is Adam. Like most people are not speaking there. But it is a register of the voice nonetheless. And what we're hearing is that the vocal cords are staying open for longer periods of time as they're vibrating, and they're very, very loose. There's not a lot of tension on the vocal cord. Next is the chest voice. Chest voice is generally where we speak. It's where most verses of songs sits, right in that lower part of people's range. And it's the most robust, most warm, full, rich tone that we have in our voice. And it's what leads to being able to mix up higher while still keeping a very robust and full tone up there. Chest voice is TA dominant. And what that means is the thyroarytenoid muscle is involved in this process. It's a muscle that runs along the inner part of the vocal cord, and it is primarily dominant in this register of the voice. That's part of what leads the sound to be so full. If you're new to singing and would really like to learn more about the voice and how to use your voice properly, please check out the link down below. I've got a course called Transform Your Voice that is the beginner's guide to learning how to sing. Next, we have the register that is a blend or a mix of head and chest resonance put together. This mixed register is probably the most sought after register in all of singing because it is what allows a lot of the pop singers today to be able to sing up super high in their range while still being able to sound full and not sounding overly thin or weak. So a mixed voice sounds like this. When we're using our mixed voice, we're blending the two registers of the voice. Again, chest voice, where we're talking, where I'm talking right now is my chest voice. And then my head voice, this is my head voice right here. And we're mixing the two and blending the two together. And at the level of the vocal cords, what's happening is the thyroarytenoid muscle, which was used for chest voice, is being used along with the cricothyroid muscle, which is a muscle that is associated with head voice and actually tilts the larynx forward so that we get a stretch in the vocal cords and they reach higher pitches. So you're able to get the higher pitch with the fullness of your chest voice. It's really the best of both worlds. It's the release of your head voice without feeling weak, and it's the fullness of your chest voice without feeling strained. Next, we have your head voice register. Your head voice is that part, it sounds very fluty, it sounds very light. It can be strengthened, and when it's strengthened, it can sound quite strong, but it's always going to have a little bit of a lighter quality than a mix. And as far as the vocal cords go, the CT muscle or the cricothyroid muscle is the one that's going to be operating most in your head voice. So if you guys can just go, woo, that's your head voice right there. So that sound is resonating up higher. It's coming up higher into my head, and it's no longer coming straight out of my mouth. It feels like it kind of lifts up and it originates in a different part of the body. Because of this difference in vibration or resonance in the voice, we call them two different things, right? Because chest voice is vibrating mostly in the mouth and head voice is resonating mostly up into the head and the nasal cavities. And finally, we have whistle voice. Whistle voice is where the vocal cords zip up and only a very small part of the vocal cord vibrates, which allows for that super, super high pitch to be sung. The sound is extremely high and piercing, and that's why we call it whistle register, because it almost sounds like a whistle. So whistle voice sounds like this. Whistle register is not one that's used most often, and it's usually not sung on. It's usually just used for a single vowel, but it's a register that few singers can sing in. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of your voice and the registers you have to use when you're singing a song. If you like this video, please check out this one. You're gonna like it too.